I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-Minute Convos, where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Magdalena Kusik. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I'm great. Thank you. I'm very much excited to be in this interview.
Hey, and I'm excited to have you as well. Please do tell us, what part of the world are you in right now?
Well, right now I am in Warsaw, Poland, and I'm sitting in the stillness of a beautiful room because right now in Poland it's in the middle of the night.
Wow.
And I'm here.
Wow. Well, I'm very thankful that you would do this at this particular time. Wow. Thank you very much for doing that.
Sure.
That being said, Magdalena, please do tell us which of your talents that you've been operating in is responsible for us connecting at this particular time in life.
Well, I suppose it's because of me being the founder and host of the Develop.Always podcast. But honestly, I'm guessing here.
No, you're definitely on point. Podcaster, family podcaster. So it's really an amazing podcast that you have there. Now, please do tell us more of what you bring to the market, to iTunes.
Yeah, with pleasure. So the Develop.Always podcast brings the listeners in contact with the executive leaders from around the world, really where I talk about the HR practices, people, and business performances to help both my listeners and their organizations to develop. And I do the conversation in different languages: Polish, which is my mother tongue, English, and so far I've done also one in Dutch because I'm trilingual.
Wow.
And I love to share the knowledge with a wider audience. And I discuss different topics like leadership, coaching, recruitment. And the most recent one was about employer branding. So all HR related topics.
Yeah, you definitely have fun with that. Like, you're hearing the joy that comes into your voice,
Passion.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a passion. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
intriguing. It's intriguing. So who did you learn the skill of human resource management from?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because I've learned the skill and actually the skill of also doing podcasts from actually doing it really. For the podcast, I was inspired by my US colleague Jennifer, who was doing this already before, and I thought I could do this too, and found a new passion where I find fulfillment, as you hear, and I love the fact that I'm able to reach so many people in different parts of the world. And HR, as the shortage stands for human resources, is really close to my heart because it involves people. And that's what I love about what I do.
With the love of people comes so many challenges that can occur, right? And even with even the differences, right? The differences that are there by nature, that being the uniqueness that each person possesses. I'd like to know, in spite of that, why will you continue to repeat the skill of managing human resources?
Because, I believe in a higher purpose of doing the things that I do. And my purpose in this one is really to build awareness of the HR, so the human resources matters, about the human topics that many of us experience in the beautiful journey of life, really.
Wow. Now, I got the podcast on iTunes. Tell us where we can get anything else that you're offering, or how we can reach you, Magdalena, if necessary.
So you can reach us and our podcast through obviously the iTunes library, but also through SoundCloud, where we have published our all of our episodes. And if anyone would like to connect with me, I'm there on LinkedIn, as many of people. And definitely I'm open to new coming connections.
Yeah, this is great. Now, tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
Yeah, that's a very good question because, when I'm thinking, I've been traveling between the Netherlands, the country that I've been living in for almost 2 decades now, and Poland, my home country. And I can tell you, spending so many hours in the air makes my mind really fly. And because I experienced that as a valuable time, really, which I have only for me, where I either read a book or listen to podcasts, or have really almost 2 hours to focus on something without any distractions whatsoever. But the reason for my travel is that for almost a decade now, I've been doing this to build the top employer certification program from its ground ready in Poland. And I'm happy with the results, which really feed my personal mission. As someone who moved away from its home country, Poland, to really show Polish citizens how many good employers, top employers we have in a country. And I must say, my mission is very much fulfilled.
Wow. How does it make you feel?
Good and very much satisfied, really. It also proves me how much potentials we as humans have in us, really, because, you know, I was born in a small town in Poland without many perspective for the future. And now I have created the most recognized employer branding certification program in Poland. And I'm very proud of my achievement.
Congratulations, Magdalena. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So let's. There's so many people that are listening, even people from my part of the woods, if you would. Why would you suggest they do what you've done by being consistent with a goal that you've had?
Well, it's because of this journey, you know, I've learned a lot about myself. I have worked and still work with amazing people on my team, but also outside of my team. Well, I have been given a lot of freedom, trust to create really position and to build and grow the program in Poland. And this experience has been really fantastic to me, and I wouldn't want to miss it, really.
Well, amazing audience, you're hearing it live from Magdalena, right? So it's Magdalena, and I love to pronounce names the way they should be. So it's Kusik, right? Magdalena Kusik, and she is the podcast host of Develop.Always. You could definitely check that out. Amazing information going on there. Magdalena, let's switch gears for a moment now, and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Magdalena, what's your earliest childhood memory?
Okay, so I am on a beach in Baltic Sea, Poland, with my parents and my twin brother. And I see my brother searching for shells on the bottom of the sea. And suddenly a wave puts him under the water. And he stands up and looks at me asking, "Who did push me?" Really understanding the power of the sea, you know, of the water.
Yeah. So how old do you think you were?
Well, I believe I was somewhere between 4 and 6 years old.
All right. Why do you think this memory is so clear?
Well, maybe it's because it was the only summer holiday in my childhood. Like before and after, we never went anywhere to celebrate and enjoy summer holidays. And that was the only place where we went to. And really, besides that, I don't know.
Intriguing. Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
With pleasure.
I love the idea of the vastness that exists in the employee /employer industry. And I love the fact that he's reaching for a seashell, which is one of the valuables, right, of the sea. And if we would equate it to a human, that getting that human entity for your business, right? The challenges that can occur if you're not ready for the force that exists, which is you need to put the correct things in place to be able to connect with the correct people for your organization. And he was just an example of what could happen if you were not prepared.
Beautifully said, really. Wow.
Yeah. If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
Oh my God. When I was 12 years old, definitely it was I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston.
Yeah. There we go. Hey, well, you're definitely the person that's standing there saying that with your passion, I will always love you, right?
For sure.
That's wonderful. All right, my friend, well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form, so it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. Are you ready?
Oh, yes, I am.
Magdalena, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Not yet, but I'm working on it.
Are you married?
I'm not. However, I found my true love, my partner Jürgen, with whom I've been over 17 years, and he makes me happy and inspires me in many ways. And I cannot imagine my life without him. And soon I'll share my life longer with him than without him.
Wow. Ooh. Hey. Yeah, that's great. Do you have children?
No, I don't, but I do have two furry friends, which I love.
Yeah, they count, right? Definitely they count. Yeah. Do you believe in God?
Well, I believe in a higher power. Some people call it God, others see it as a higher power of themselves.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes, I do, and I cherish that. I have a good friend, Tomek, from high school, which I see from time to time, and I'm glad, really, that after so many years, we are still friends.
And do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
No.
What about screen time, the phone under the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
OMG, it's definitely more than 8, and in this fast-paced, changing environment, it's really impossible not to.
Yeah. Magdalena, after 1,001 conversations in 3 months in 2016, I came up with a workbook thereafter, the name of it being called Yours, which stands for Your Own Unique Real Self, with the idea that you answer questions, you get into that self-reflection, and hopefully you're able to find your mission, identify your mission, that I term your own unique real statement. Yours again, right? I'd like to know if you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are. What would you say that is?
Well, I do get inspired by many statements from other people. And there was this film that I watched over 5 years ago called How Do You Know? It's an American comedy. And there was a quote that I remembered and have used in the past 5 years, which is try to figure out what you want and learn how to ask for it.
Love it.
Really, I find whenever I find myself in a difficult situation, I use this to really be able to solve whatever really needs to be solved. And it helps me.
Love it. Magdalena, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Yes. I would say believe in yourself and realize how often you tend to discourage yourself, making you feel miserable. So don't listen to this inner voice from the past of the experiences that were negative, that make you freeze in a way, and instead open up and look rationally at new situations. And simply when you get the chance, take the leap and jump and realize that the worst thing that could happen to you is that when you touch the ground, you really would land softly, and with experience that you already have in life, what you've gained, you will definitely land softly. And saying this, I want to thank you for the invitation, and a big thank you to the audience for listening.
Love it. It's just like the sea turning you up. You fall and then you wonder what just hit you, but then you get the opportunity to go right back in again. Magdalena Kusik, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you, Angel.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.